Welcome to All Roads Lead to Rhodey. We're here at Kingston Mart, conveniently located in the URI Emporium. We're here recapping the URI versus PC game that happened this weekend.
The Rhodey Rams took the victory over the Providence College Friars at home at the Ryan Center in what is considered to be the hottest ticket in the history of the Ryan Center. It's the second largest crowd hosted on campus here, and we got some students here that were at the game. Who was at the game? Up early, 3 o'clock in the morning, a couple people waiting in line. It was a good game. Rhodey got their first victory over Providence in 7 years. Dan Hurley gets his first victory over head coach Ed Cooley down at the other school we won't name. But let's take a look here. What do you think the number one problem was for PC in this one? Because Providence really just didn't have it all strung together. Anybody want to take this one?
I'll say the biggest problem for PC was turnovers. They had over 20 turnovers. I think URI's guards were just too much for them.
And also, Jarvis Garrett, credit to him, he locked up Kyron Cartwright, the All Big East selection from last year down at Providence, and he was definitely out of his element, only had 2 points on the game. What worked well for Rhodey, though? I know there was a freshman on hand that had 20 points. Anybody talk about him?
Yeah, freshman guard Fats Russell, he had over 20 points in the game. Obviously, he was the star for URI. He brought a lot of energy to the team and had over 20 points for the Rams. Gabby actually got a chance to talk with Fats. Gabby, you want to tell us a little more about what you learned?
Sure. Fats is a freshman from Philadelphia. He had definitely the highest points from last game, and he's been a big help ever since EC was out with his wrist fracture. So he has been essential for the team.
The University of Rhode Island is the only school in the country at this present moment that has beat two Big East opponents this year. Very exciting atmosphere at the Ryan Center as well. The ruckus was out in full force. Ed Cooley, the head coach of Providence, noting that, saying that's probably the reason why Rhodey won the game, but plenty of other reasons why Rhodey came out with the victory in this one. Casey, what was your biggest takeaway from the game?
I think my biggest takeaway was EC Matthews not being on the court, and he's one of the star players on the team, and them being able to win without EC, it shows a lot that we're really coming along, and I think that's really good for the team. Tom, what did you think?
My biggest takeaway of the game is Fats Russell can score on anyone. That reverse layup he had in the second half was the play of the game for me. What do you think,
My biggest takeaway would be that the Rams are one of the deepest backcourts in the country. At any given time, we can play 4 guards, and that's really beneficial to us in the long run. Sierra, what did you think?
Well, I definitely thought the ruckus came out in full force. There was a sea of Keaney blue. PC couldn't even make their free throw shots in the second half. Alex, what did you think?
Just going off that, I think the impact of the fans was huge. I know it was not even just the students that were cheering, but the alumni and the fans and the families in the audience, and all of our throats were sore the next day, so it was crazy. Jess?
And speaking of alumni, I'm going to be an alumni next year, but it's so great coming out senior year and finally getting that win, guys. I'm really excited. And Margot, what do you think?
I think the biggest takeaway for the game was definitely turnovers. PC turned over the ball a lot to URI, and that really hurt them, especially towards the end of the first half. What do you think?
My biggest takeaway was if you want to be there for the game, definitely wake up before 6 a.m. I mean, I couldn't even get my tickets, but some people were there at 3:30, so next time I know for next year, got to get up early. What about you?
Well, my biggest takeaway of the game is probably Fats Russell coming in clutch. We all expected a good game from Jared Terrell. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I think his teammates picked up the slack, so I think that was my biggest takeaway. How about you?
Well, yeah, I was definitely excited to see Fats coming in clutch. Dan Hurley specifically recruited him, and he's been a big help. He has a big year starting as a freshman. And as well as Jared Terrell, he is definitely one of our most important offensive players, and I'm excited to see him step up in our absence of EC Matthews.
So I was lucky enough to get a ticket to the PC game. I got out there with a bunch of friends at 5:30 in the morning. So we basically camped out and played music until 4:30, and it was super awesome. And then when we were waiting in line to actually get into the game, Dan Hurley bought all of the Fans and Lions pizza so we could get a little grub on before the game started. It was dope!
You could really see the passion that Dan Hurley has for his fans. At the end of the game, when the coaches and all the players went over to the Sea of Keaney Blue to pay homage to the fact that they are such a big support to the team.
Oh, and our takeaway from Kingston Mart, definitely come here if you want the best prices on campus, that's for sure.